first of all, I want to touch on niyyah, intention. If you remember, in wudu, all the madhahib except the Hanafi said the niyyah was fard, and Hanafi said the niyyah was sunnah. Right? And I gave the reasons then. So some of the Hanafi scholars, such as Imam Zufar, they say, well, these are the Hanafi views, really. They say that niyyah is not necessary in tayammum. But this view is not accepted even by Hanafis. But why do they say that? The reason they say that, well, they say the tayammum is badal, is a replacement of wudu. So whatever is not fard in tayammum, wudu, whatever is not fard in wudu cannot be fard in tayammum. They say anything which is a khalifa of an action, right? The khalifa will have the same ruling to what it is replacing. And we discuss also the asbab, the means and the aim, maqasid and asbab. They say asbab will have the same rulings as, and they differed in that as well. But all four schools, even the Hanafi, some Hanafi scholars they say that, but even Hanafis they don't accept the view. Because tayammum in language means what? To aim or to intend. So you can't take that out of tayammum. So even though Hanafis they say in wudu, the niyyah, the intention is not fard, is sunnah, but in tayammum it is fard. So if someone works on a construction site and he's full of dust, so much dust that you can't even see him, but he didn't make niyyah of tayammum, then that dust is not sufficient for him. Clear? Tayammum means to put your hands, you hit it on the earth, okay, and you have two actions. We'll cover to wipe your face and you wipe your hands. We'll cover them in a bit, inshallah. So now we can say, after taking this view, explaining that view about niyyah, that all madhahib, their fatwa is that you must have niyyah for tayammum. Even though the Hanafi says if you didn't have niyyah for wudu, your wudu is done. But when it comes to tayammum, you must have. And the view of Imam Awza'i and Imam Zufar is a rare view. And their logic is because it's a khalifa of wudu, so you must have the same ruling. But this is not accepted in the madhab. Okay. Now, what should a person, when you make the niyyah, what should your niyyah be? Okay. Hanafis, they say that removing hadath, removing the state of impurity, because for them the tayammum is a complete replacement of wudu, exactly the same. When there is no possibility of wudu, with this right conditions, you are eligible to do tayammum, it is like wudu for you. So the niyyah you make for wudu, the niyyah you make for tayammum, to remove impurity, and in their madhab you become pure, a state of purity. But the other madhahib, okay, Hanbalis, they are okay with that as well. They say if you had the niyyah of removing hadath and you prayed, it's fine. But some non-Hanafis and a lot of scholars, they say that's non-Hanafi scholars, yeah, and I'm more Shafis and Malikis. They say if you made a niyyah, I do tayammum to remove hadath, they say your salah is not, this tayammum is batil, your salah is not accepted. Because in their madhab, the tayammum does not remove hadath. It's rather to make halal with tayammum, for salah or something, because you don't have water. Your niyyah should be to pray salah as there is no water available. But you should know that it doesn't make you into a pure state. You are using it as a necessity. But in general, others said, well, it doesn't really matter. And a lot of later scholars, they said, well, if he done tayammum, he wants to pray. He wants to pray. There is no water. He done tayammum, it should be sufficient. But the others, they said, he should specify why he is doing tayammum. Because Hanafis, if you do tayammum, you can, with same tayammum, you can pick up the mushaf, you can do salah with it, fard and nafil, you can do tawaf with it. Everything you can do with wudu, you can do with tayammum. One tayammum will suffice. Yeah? And you can pray Asr and Maghrib and Isha all with one tayammum. But other madhab, they don't like that. They say one tayammum per time and per action. You do tayammum for salah, you do tayammum for this salah. You do tayammum for Asr, Maghrib time, you must do tayammum for Maghrib. You done tayammum for picking up the Quran or do adhan. You can't pray with it. You have to do tayammum for salah. That's the reason they disagree on what your niyyah should be. So, if you're doing tayammum in other madahib, if you're doing tayammum for hadath akbar, meaning you are doing tayammum because ghusl was due on you, then you should have the niyyah for that, hadath akbar. But if you are doing tayammum because wudu was due on you, not ghusl, then your niyyah should be accordingly. But Hanafi says none of that. They say you just do tayammum. You are eligible for it because no water, no ability to use the water. Do tayammum and you are on your way. Do everything like you would do after ghusl and wudu. The others, they said, well, it's not a replacement. It's just for necessity. So you should know in your niyyah. You don't have to utter it, but you should know what you're doing tayammum for.